right, still in the merriment mood, but let's get serious this morning. It's time to take a look at the headlines of the newspapers. And of course, Dr. Ekere of the University of Lagos is with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
And
compliments of the season.
Compliments of the season, like we say.
Thank you. I
hope you enjoyed your Christmas holiday.
Well, I did. At
you still have the touch of red, so I feel better.
At least I have some relaxation, and I think that's what it's all about.
Okay, good. All right, the Punch is where we start from. Adeleke alarms, that's former governor of Bayelsa State, Alamie Sega Akunyele's names on INEC register years after death.
That is amusing, really. So what are the names doing there?
Well, but it's not surprising. We've had names of Americans on our, voter register sometime before.
Didn't we have an Obama name, and Clinton and Mike Tyson?
The names of Americans being on a voter register is not a problem.
Okay.
All right? What will constitute a problem is if there are photographs of America, because we bear our names. Yes, so that does not really change anything.
Let's assume.
Yeah.
Let's assume that.
Yeah, but the real question is, just like
this particular one, these are known figures, all right?
Demised.
So if after death, but it will be surprising, after all, dead people were appointed to various, so
boards and parastatals.
Yes, I think it is the same, spirit that is going on, perhaps. Maybe INEC want to continue that legacy. Otherwise, I don't see why.
You're not saying this is deliberate. Maybe it's an oversight, and it's good that this is coming to light.
Whether oversight or deliberate, I expected INEC to be up and doing.
Yeah.
So they should have cleaned up their register.
Act. Yeah, yes. Register.
Okay. APC, PDP clash on Buhari Atiku's chances in Southwest. Police to parade alleged killers of Bade. Of course, all the papers have that report on the, nabbing of the alleged killers of former Chief of Defense Staff. Allegations linking Buhari's family members to Keystone Bank. Others' ownership should be probed, and that's Atiku, the presidential candidate of the PDP. Open grazing, Benue arrests herdsman, impounds 105 cows. Christmas Day tragedies. Lagos, hit-and-run driver kills family's only child, and 3 die in Ogun. Auto crash and family of 3 burnt to death.
Wow, indeed a tragedy.
Yeah, as others were, merrying and celebrating Christmas.
Others were mourning.
Wow, isn't that,
that's quite painful.
The reality
However,
of
but
life.
that's the reality of
we
life.
really hope that they can overcome this.
Yes.
190 policemen flee training to avoid fighting Boko Haram. Well, the police has been, denying this, that no such thing.
Yes, I remember listening to the spokesman of the police, saying there wasn't anything of such. But I'm wondering, if that is true, how come most of the papers are reporting, So what is happening? Is it the same spirit of cover up the police is trying to do, or are we saying that the entire press is against the police?
Well,
he even went ahead. In fact, names were even released of some of those who
absconded.
Whether that's authentic or not is something else. But names were even released of those who absconded from the police.
Anyway, in the meantime, Buhari wouldn't have won if I didn't support him, says former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Well, that one is history now, but. However,
how important is Obasanjo's support? That seems to be the underlying
Chief Obasanjo's support as at then was actually quite important.
And now?
Very weighty. Now is what we cannot tell, but clearly you cannot take it away from him then. Because his decimation of PDP then affected it to a very large extent as well, because he created an image that suggests that PDP must be avoided. And to a large extent, that did a lot of damage to the PDP. So we can't take it from him. But whether it will have the same impact this time around is a different thing altogether.
We'll wait to see how it plays out.
Would it, would the APC have been happy if they had an Obasanjo support?
Certainly they would.
Of course.
So that would tell you that it's still important.
Politics is a game of numbers.
Indeed,
so The point there is you cannot ignore the support of any former president.
I mean,
they are influential. They are influential.
Every member of the
Exactly.
party is
You
important,
can't
let
take it
alone
away.
the former president. You
Exactly.
can't take it from him. You
All
cannot.
former presidents are influential.
You just
one way
cannot
or the
take
other.
it
It's a
from
phone call away, and,
Yes.
and things can still happen.
That is the truth.
You know. All right. That is not to say the ultimate power doesn't reside with Nigerians, but one way or the other, level of influences. Now, the Nation newspaper is our next one here. APC strikes Atiku for attack on Buhari's anti-graft war. Ex-VP accuses president of doublespeak. Keyamo Atiku is a product of a faulty system. And Atiku has said that, well, we use that same system to speedily convict no less than the personality than an Inspector General of Police. Okay? And they're saying for Atiku, the only interest is to grab power and continue where they stopped in their avarice. Okay. This still brings us back to the issue of personality, mudslinging, and all of that.
Instead of the issues
at
that
this
Nigerians
time,
are
At this time,
expecting.
Nigerians are really looking forward to the real issues.
Yes.
The real issues that has made Nigeria the poverty capital of the world. The real issues that Nigeria has a lot of deficit, housing deficit, infrastructure deficit,
all kinds of deficit.
I mean, all manner
and
of
so on
deficit.
all
You can.
manner of deficit.
Yeah,
Well, the fact is, President Buhari has been blaming the system, the faulty system.
It's not me, it's the system.
It's not me, it's the system. And Atiku was saying, no, it's not the system, it's you.
Yeah,
Okay.
see,
Let's leave it.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go on. IMF, Lagos to grow by 4% to $136 billion GDP. Growth to surpass federal government. The governor was revealing this and saying that Lagos was going to grow in the coming year. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always good to hear such things. Let's
Yeah.
hope that they will equally translate into positive developments.
Exactly.
Grow in what sense now? In size, in terms of population or the economy, to the effect that everybody will begin to feel it, or the same way it has been going, that a few are smiling to the banks and the rest are suffering. I'm waiting to see the kind of growth.
Well,
that we're
when this
looking at.
GDP is supposed to be for everyone,
Yeah.
we'll wait to see how that translates beyond the books, to the real average man. Now, Army confirms 14 killed in ambush. Buratai dashes to war front. It's really a sad situation there. And then Bade, 2 suspects held. All right, we've talked about it before, and we understand that we paraded today
Yes,
at about
indeed.
12 noon.
But why the
Yes.
parade? Have they been confirmed killers of body?
Well,
So I mean, I'm always
it's still-
troubled.
it's still alleged.
So at the point of allegation, these people are still considered innocent.
Until
so
proven
why
guilty.
parade them like criminals?
Yeah.
Because this has been a challenge. At the end of the day, you find out that the investigation will not be thorough enough to actually prove that these people have a hand and the rest of it. I think the police need to, change their style,
Yeah.
do the needful, get your facts, ensure that they are watertight, such that whoever you are parading will be the real criminal.
or maybe the police is under pressure to show that they're
That
working.
they are working.
Is that a possibility? To the
Well,
Daily
point there
Sun
is
now.
The police actually works
Yeah,
really
yeah.
hard work.
No, when they,
Yeah.
We can't
that
take
is
that
the
away
truth.
Can't take that
when
away.
they want to, they know what to do. That's the truth. They do. They are good. But again, the environment is equally not very, friendly for them to actually
To do what they need to
because
do.
you need an
Yeah.
enabling environment for them to be able to do what they ought to do.
Okay, to the Daily Sun, Pan-Igbo Group, Eastern Front roars over 2023 presidency, slams presidency for alleged double dealing.
Yes.
So were they actually thinking that, all those slogans of 2023 Igbo presidency and the rest will actually play out in that manner?
Why
you see,
shouldn't they believe it?
is the presidency in the hands of APC or the Buhari or who?
In whose hands is it?
It's Nigerians.
Okay.
All right. So if the Southeast is interested in producing a president, it's for them to work it out and not to rely on any political party. Assuming they even zone it to them, a particular political party is zone it to them, and the rest, and another political party picks it.
Yeah.
What will happen? So we must not. You see,
Well, there's been this, dangling of the carrot.
yeah, but I
before
expect the Southeast is still sophisticated to
be
assume,
discerning
I
enough.
mean, this kind of position to be so hoodwinked into believing that 2023 is for them. Should they support the APC and all of that? That is quite bad.
We even saw when the PDP candidate picked his vice from the Southeast, we saw how some of the leaders and the governor said they were not consulted and all of that. And this is the first time any candidate is speaking, or any major candidate is speaking, a vice president from the Southeast after Second Republic, where Dr. Alex Ekweme, you know. So I think...
and yet there was protest over not being consulted.
So I think the Southeast, the leaders in Southeast still have to come together. Like you said, they're very sophisticated people, very enlightened people, and they need to be able to come out to become very formidable in the political
such a move,
platform.
I expect that because I don't think the South Seas, perhaps maybe just a few people are trying to use this as a, a platform to launch themselves out. Otherwise, I don't think the Southeast will be so, so easily deceived that 2023 is theirs. Yes, it could be anybody.
All right.
After us,
the
Southwest is working on that as well.
They have to work it out.
All right. Maybe there's still a lot of political naivete on the part of the Southeast. Maybe that's what's playing out. Who knows? I don't align with Amosun on next Ogun governor, says former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Well, they both agree that the next governor of Ogun State should come from Ogun West. Okay. But the question is, who in particular? Well, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said to Amosun, can we just leave it to God to decide who the next governor of Ogun State will be?
Well, I think really it's important that we understand that the states are not the estates of these governors and the rest. You see, the people have a choice to make. Let the choice be that of the people. This question of preferred candidate and all of that, I see it as a plot to kind of, cover up so many things, so many of the ills that they have done, whatever they are perpetrating in their otherwise.
But then there are no guarantees based on past experiences from, in other parts of the country. Yes, there are no guarantees that
they can't be guarantees anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is what your anointed candidate will not turn on you later.
That is what power does. The moment you get to that seat,
there's something about power.
Yes, it's a different thing altogether.
They can't be guarantees anyway.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Okay, PDP, APC trade words over corruption war. Controversy over desertion in police. Buhari retaining IGP to rig 2019 elections. Atiku's spokesman. There's been some issues around whether the IGP
I think that statement
Idris
was made by, what was the name of this man? The PDP campaign spokesman also.
There's Frank Shoaibu on
this what's the name of it?
Apart from Shegun Shoumi. Buba Galadima.
Yes,
Buba Galadima.
He made that statement that the IGP's tenure ought to expire. I mean, the man ought to retire by January. I think January 3rd also.
Yes.
And he was saying that from the look of things, it appears that the president will not even allow him retire because he seemed to be the perfect man to be used to to do all kinds of games with respect to 2019 elections. And he was placing a bet that it's time to be corrected, that the president will not let this man go because. But then,
but if you look at it objectively, the point there is a new IG taking over now, where where the election is coming.
How that will impact?
How will that play out?
Does that stop anything? Are you saying so? If the man dropped dead today, what will happen?
Okay.
Will election stop?
Let's rest it there.
Well, the president has assured
let's appreciate the display of rich culture of the Benin Kingdom. Oba of Benin, Ewari II, Oba Tokpe, is leading a procession to the palace for the celebration of the 2018 Igwe Festival.
Yeah, Igwe Festival is like the end of the year in the Benin calendar. And after that, I think the new year begins.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a wonderful tradition.
Yes.
Yeah, the Beninese have been known for, call this cultural heritage that they don't trade for anything. They are so cultural that, and even the entire atmosphere, when you see it, you'll be so amazed.
Yes, it's really nice
this is so colorful, so interesting, to the extent that it begins to attract people from all walks of life, all over the world. And I think this is something that we need to do. When it comes to culture, Africa seems to be, at the very top However, we don't seem to cherish this our culture.
Yeah, we don't put it out there.
At all.
You
we
have
don't.
the Olojo Festival in Ile-Ife.
So many
you have
of them.
The Osun Osogbo.
So many.
Yeah.
Then name them.
Of course,
in fact, there are
festival.
others in some other communities
that
that
are-
I've never known.
Even as like New Yam festivals.
Good.
We have
You
the
know, so many
There's
of
the
them.
Owa Obokun in Ogun State. Yeah, so many. Yeah.
So many. There are festivals.
Iriji
sometimes because
festival.
I used to,
My people will
I
not
saw,
forgive me
I
if I
saw
don't remember
somewhere in,
Iriji.
I can't remember what country, they paraded one drum as the biggest, drum in the world. And that is like the half of the one we use in my community. So I was
There you
wondering,
go.
it is because the press has not gone there to see that, and somebody
Exactly.
can flash that little thing and call it the biggest drum.
Have they come to Badagry?
Are you getting it? So these are the kind of things you'll find because we have not actually, presented ourselves to the rest of the world.
And there's the Ojude Oba. in
Yeah, that's what I was
Ijebode.
trying to
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
the other
We
time.
have the
Yeah.
fishing festival as well in the
Argungu.
Argungu and the rest of them.
festival.
So
And
many.
even the Doba. No, these are beautiful things.
And these are,
beautiful things.
when you talk about tourism and the rest of, these are some of the things that attract people to other parts of the
Yeah,
world.
exactly.
And if we're able to present ours in a manner that will look that attractive.
But
and-
it's
and
curious that we're not
security
even
issues.
hearing this from any of the presidential candidates or any of the.
Restoring
Yeah,
tourism.
talking about making Nigeria a
Because
tourism.
that has never really been the focus.
Well, we have a
And
deficit.
again-
We were talking about deficits earlier on. We have a tourism deficit. The only states that you can, that when you're going in, tourism is in your head, is Cross River.
Yeah, well, I think
You understand?
Yeah.
But, but besides that,
But then
A lot of
again,
credit to
besides
some,
that-
Donald
some would
Duke
actually
for that.
tell you that they've dropped the ball as far as tourism is concerned from where Donald Duke took it when he was
are you
there.
getting it? When you get to that place, look at a project like Tinapa and the rest of it.
Tinapa,
It's
Obudu
not
Cattle
Moribund.
Ranch.
So apart from maybe Obudu Cattle Ranch, that you still have a semblance of, much of those things were not actually continued by those who took over from it.
successors.
Yes. So you now have a challenge, as if they don't
Well,
even understand what
Governor
it is.
Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State has said he's going to really pay a lot of attention to tourism. There's the Kogo Sea.
I hope it goes
and
beyond
all
the
other-
lips.
It goes a long
Yeah,
way.
well-
But the point there is, a lot of Nigerians will say, tourism is not the foundation of everything. People have to be able, because you're bringing in people to spend money for that aesthetics, for the beauty of society and all of that.
Yeah.
But first of all, people need to be able to have their housing,
The basic
the
things of
basics
life.
have to be on ground first.
Then they
when
can
we're
think
having
of-
issues of housing deficit, all of those deficits like we're talking
Food
about,
deficits.
take care of those, and then the others will take care of themselves.
That is correct. But
Yeah.
at the same time, too, we are looking at it from the point of view of even the international community. So you are not the one to give them the money to spend here, but you need to create that enabling environment to attract them.
And
So that when they come-
enabling environment is very, very relative.
Speaking of
for
which-
someone who
Yeah.
is hungry and is still watching, and then he sees foreigners coming to, he could have an ulterior motive when he doesn't have food to eat. So
Yeah.
the issue of security,
That is correct.
The
That
issue
is
of
correct.
security
Yes.
Is
so
key.
you need to
Security,
take care
yeah,
of
but the
these things.
security issue is not that of the people. It's actually that of the government, even though the people have a role to play. But
Exactly.
you see, when the people notice that people are coming from outside, and
And
the
they have
money they are
dollars-
going to
and they have
spend,
dollars to
so,
spend.
of course, they are not going to spend the money on the government.
It's
All
the
right?
people
It's the people
that are the
who will
beneficiaries.
sell the water they
Yeah.
will drink. It's the people who is
But-
going
but
to
you
lead
know,
them.
Who will
what
sell-
about
who
transportation?
will sell the
And the rest
artifacts and all the
all
rest of
manner
it?
of
They
things.
say a hungry man is not a rational man.
Even the ones that is well fed, are they actually rational?
Okay, but take care of the basics first, and then the others will
That is
fall in
correct.
line.
I mean,
I
we're
agree with
talking
you.
about the enabling environment. Look at a place like Jos, for example, a place that has both the temperate and, tropical
Jos
weather.
used to be-
One of the
Security
most
challenge.
beautiful, peaceful states in Nigeria.
There's a security
See where
challenge.
we are with Jos.
So those
And
are-
that's
those
how
are the issues.
challenging
Yeah.
security issues can
Yeah,
be.
really.
All right, Vanguard is my last paper now. Zamfara killings threat to food security. Federal government is saying this. Well, I guess this is even coming very late because when it comes to food security, Zamfara, Benue, Taraba, Plateau, Nasarawa, Kogi, and all of Niger State are all in the mix. Denies allegation that troops killed protesters. PDP condemns Zamfara Yobe killings and tasks Buhari to review his parade. Okay. Oil price drops to $50 per barrel. $10 below 2019 budget benchmark.
Yes.
Now, the point there is, one would say, it seems the government is going for, as far as the budget is concerned, next year is going for a crash, even ahead of time.
Well, it's too early to decide, but then The indication is quite frightening or threatening.
And the speed at which the oil price is going down, it's dizzying.
You know, but at the same time too, it is in the same manner it goes up to.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had cases of over, you know, the amount, and at the end of the day, what you hear is excess crude account. So what happens to the excess? I think the idea is to balance it. So if you now had, you know, an estimated position of $60 and it's falling down to 50 or 51, and in the past you had excess, I mean, all of that.
But you know, we don't have excess anymore. The money has been approved for Tucano, Super Tucano,
that will come 10,000 years to
exactly,
come.
but you have to pay for them right now.
In the meantime, $677 billion has been made as revenue in oil since 1999 till date. What have we done?
That's a big question.
We'll be using it for campaigns.
We'll be using it for different things. 16% completion of second Niger Bridge, the facts on ground. Now, if you look at the details of the story, it's been talking about the fact that the second Niger Bridge is on, even though a lot of people are saying, no, where is the second Niger Bridge and all of that?
A bridge is not a minute object. We must understand.
People cannot
so it's not something that you don't need to tell people about a bridge. People will see it. So let's leave the campaigns about second Niger Bridge, how far it has gone. Complete it. Let the people know that there is a second Niger Bridge. That's all we need.
And even talking about 16%,
all those
16%? It has not started. As far as we are concerned, the bridge hasn't started.
If you score 60% in an exam, that is a failure. So let's leave the issue of percentage. Now that it has started, let's assume it has, and it has started in earnest, let it go in that manner. Do the best you can. Should you win the next election, continue. Should you fail, let the next person,
take over and continue.
Take over from there. Government is a continuum.
Because
so let's leave the issue of
we would have been happy talking about percentage completion when it gets to about 70 or 80 or 90. Then
at that
we
level,
say,
you can talk with confidence.
Exactly. All right, this is our saddest Christmas, Leah Sharibu's family. Really a sad one. It draws our attention to Leah Sharibu and even the Chibok girls. Ogun Governor, allow God's will to prevail. OBG tells Amosu, let the will of God prevail. Okay, that's the Vanguard newspaper.
Like they say, the will of the people
is the will of God.
How else does God express his will?
The voice of the people is the voice. All right, so the New Telegraph, that's our last paper this morning. Why ex-chief of defense staff Bade was killed. Police arrest suspected killers in Abuja, Nasarawa. Land transaction, money linked to murder. And Zamfara killings will affect food security. That's according to the federal government. Meanwhile, customs generates 1.1 trillion naira, remits 653.47 billion naira in 11 months. Now, when we, put out there the figures that the customs have made, on the one hand, it sounds good, but on the other hand, does it mean that smuggling has continued unabated? Is that
Obviously.
what we're saying?
Of course. It is still happening, and it will continue to happen, essentially with the way and manner our economy is being managed. The custom, what has just been reported is that they made about 1.7 trillion, and they remitted what?
600.
So what happened to the difference? And I am of the strong opinion that the custom can actually do more than that. If we go technological, if we're able to put the right machineries in place. And the right attitude is given to it, the custom alone can make over 2 trillion.
It's possible.
And again, you now have the issue of, if this is despite the smuggling, this one that we're talking about. So at the time you are able to cage all these issues of smuggling, you can imagine what will come out of just the customs. Then so many other parts, you see, from what we generate annually, we have no reason to actually borrow.
Yeah.
But it's just that much of it is going
to wrong places.
Private.
Okay, I'm talking about revenue. NNPC nets 225.5 billion naira from crude exports in 30 days.